Day 1. The day kicked off with a production meeting where we discussed the upcoming production, namely Apology Mine and We Are Not Separate. We went over everything from costumes, props, stage setup, sound to projections. After that, everyone dispersed to their designated departments like stage management, paint, props, costume, carpentry, and sound. I found myself in the sound department, which I quite liked. There, we delved deeper into our plans, especially regarding the speakers needed for We Are Not Separate. We needed to set up 4 larger speakers and 4 smaller speakers, but unfortunately we didn't have precise details on where they would be hung, as the boxes weren't ready yet. Nevertheless, we received a crash course on how to set up the speakers, thanks to Adrian who guided us through using shackles, chains, and the speakers themselves. We practiced on the floor and got the hang of it. We prepared the speakers for installation next week. Since we had some time left, we also went over the console setup and received a mini class on how to operate the digital console. Day 2. With information on speaker placement sorted out, we put Adrian's teaching from last week into action. We split into small groups to hang the speakers while some of us dealt with running cables from the booth to the theater and rehearsal hall. Glenn explained us how the intercom system worked, which we also connected. By the end of the day, we managed to install only 3 speakers. One took longer as we struggled to secure it properly.
The next day.
Day 3. We started by rewiring the cables for the subwoofers and the speakers. 4 cables were launched from the booth to connect to the amplifiers, which in turn were connected to the 4 speakers in the boxes. Another cable was sent out of the hanging speakers. We also installed the last speaker and got them all connected and powered up. A fun highlight of the day was a spontaneous dance break where almost everyone joined, adding a burst of energy to the atmosphere. Day 4. After spending 3 days in the sound department, today I found myself in a different role, working in the video department. They had already made progress in the setting up the projectors and everything was nearly ready for We Are Not Separate. All that was left was mapping and adjusting the projection size to fit the 30 centimeters boxes. We used the Isadora program for this task and then synchronized the videos with cues from the script, ensuring the right video played at the right moment of the performance. As for Apology My, although the exact requirements were unclear, all the equipment was set up, including 2 cameras, a television, projector, and a mixer. Day 5. This was the day of the presentation where we finally got to observe the 2 works that we spent time organizing and preparing. After seeing both presentations, it was time for the easiest part, I believe. Honestly, although after working so hard, knowing that it has an end is part of the process, so the moment came to strike everything, remove the cables that were used for sound, and take down the speakers that have been hanging for these past 5 weeks, thus bringing an end to this project. After having the experience of working with the UK students in our first midterm, we started a new project with the second year students where 3 of them presented their designs, which are based on 3 short stories: Cicada, The Lost Scene, and The Rethrin. Each has a different ideas for their project, and it was interesting to have that meeting with them. So the first week began where I had the opportunity to be in the sound department. The first thing we did was to have a meeting about how the prepared design will be presented. We helped searching for sounds and music to set the ambience for these 3 plays. After that, the following week, I was also in the same department, where we started placing the speakers and doing some cabling. Honestly, it was a very calm day. The next week, I was in the video department, which is what I like the most. Here, just like the other times, we have a meeting, but this meeting was with each of the designers to know what they wanted to do since it's a property show that will use cameras projection. So, we had a meeting with them individually to get an idea how they were going to position the cameras. For display, we have the opportunity to have 4 cameras. After this, just like Sun, we also ran some cables from the booth to the theater and installed the projector with the screen. Then we start placing the cameras as the designers wanted. For Cicada, we used 3 cameras. For the Lost Thing, we just use 1 camera that will remain static, and the Red 3, we used 1 camera, but this one was placed on a dolly, since the idea for display was to capture the puppet's movement. From here, we started having the technical rehearsal to see that everything is in order. We first started with Cicada, where the idea was to jump from one scene to another. It took time to understand how the designer wanted, but we managed to do it. The next day, we had a rehearsal with the Lost Scene. Since this is a single camera in the same position, I worked on the titles of the play that will be projected. I had to go to the designers and have a small meeting to have the titles ready for the next day, which we started with the rehearsal of the Red 3. This one was a bit complicated because following the puppet and trying to only record them while ensuring that the other people involved didn't appear in the camera was a big challenge, but we did the best we could. So, we worked for 2 weeks rehearsing and getting everything ready for the show day. I was designated as the camera operator, so I was there every day during rehearsals, rehearsing and memorizing every movement to make everything look smooth. When the show day arrived, I was nervous. It was my first time doing something like this, and I can say it went well. I felt very happy to participate in this theater production and to have these beautiful experiences, especially working with amazing people who made all this happen. We had 3 more presentations, and each day was a challenge. Sometimes nerves got to you, but everything turned out well in the end. And as always, everything has an end. After working very hard for weeks, they come to dismantle everything and put it away.